Hello and welcome to the Speak Up Blah podcast. This is Lauren, your host, aka Blah for short, and I am so glad that you are here to hear me and talk about a new topic this week. If this is your first time joining me, I just want to make sure you know I am Lauren again, owner of Speak Up Blah, and it's a business in which I live out of my comfort zone. I dedicate myself to using my gifts to this world and live out my purpose. I am a true creative that loves making great content that is motivational, educational, inspiring, and most of all, relatable. To get a full rundown on me and all of my lovely offerings, go to my website, speakupblah.com, and get all the good deets there. But hey, we got a podcast to talk to, so let's get into it. So let me tell you, it feels amazing to be back on this microphone. It has been so long. I can't even remember. I guess I could look up the episodes to see, but it's been a minute. Life has been lifing. And, when you look around and you see what's going on in, your family's lives, your friends' lives, coworkers, it can be a lot. And, just thinking within my life right now, I've had family members that are in the hospital. I've had family members pass away unexpected. I've had a family member just this morning get robbed. And it just traumatic situations, a lot going on. And, you go to social media, you have the kids that got assaulted in South Africa to people being stranded because of the Southwest flights. I mean, it's so many things that are happening right now as a society. You just want to be like literally under a rock. And, today for me, and I wanted to share something that I honestly went through because I'm always, as you heard in my opening, big about having relatable content. And so just wanted to talk to you today about my SOS. So you're probably like, what the heck is a SOS? SOS, which I call it for short, a spin out session, aka an anxiety attack. When it just, life be life and too much is going on and I just feel like I'm spinning out of control. And so today, amongst the multitude of things, I had an SOS hit me pretty hard. And, I took some time and I said, you know what? Hit your 4 R's, which I'll talk about in a second. But I really wanted to share this with you as well because I know that we probably all have some anxiety attacks, here or there, because life be lifing, okay? So let's get into the 4 R's, which are reflect, refocus, realign, restart. So when I have an SOS, aka spin out session, aka anxiety attack, the first thing I do is stop and acknowledge I'm having this feeling. Because a lot of times, life be lifing, as I said, and you want to just keep pushing through, where sometimes you need to take a stop and reassess. So that's where these 4 R's really come into play. I get it. Sometimes you can't just stop what you're doing because, you're in a conference call for work or you're doing something at that real time. But look at a space in a way that you can take a step back and hit these 4 R's. Just some tips here. So for me, for context, I've told you just some of the family, emotional side of things that have been going on. But then, I still work full time. I still have this side hustle, which I love, that you're listening to right now. I have an amazing trip coming up that's 4 days away. And just trying to get everything set up for, being away for an extended period of time. But then also, being a caregiver to my parents and, helping them with different needs that they may have. It just gets busy. So when I'm at the peak of an SOS, the first thing is reflection. I gotta know how the heck I got into this. And so for me, I like to look at the first trigger and the last trigger. And what was interesting for me is I actually had so many different things trigger at the same time. That's what sent me kind of into this period. So when you're in this reflection, look at the things that, like, how did I get to this? How did I feel through this? Could I have stopped this before? It's a yes or no. Sometimes you just can't help it, because I definitely did not even see like this coming at all. I definitely will be talking to my therapist about this. Like, what the heck happened this week? Because an SOS was not in my cards at all. But, from life challenges, life events, things happen. And so having some tools and some ways to get through them, this is just how I've been able to do this. I will say this again, or say this now on the record, and I'll probably say it again in this episode. I am not a licensed professional. I'm just giving you some tips and things that I've learned through my therapy sessions, but also how I've been able to implement them in my life. So when talking about the 4 R's, the first thing, reflect. Make sure that you see what got you to there in an SOS, because that can be a game changer. So if you get triggered by the same thing, say a couple months from now, you'll know how to kind of stop it in its tracks before getting to a bigger trigger, an issue. So the next R is refocus. And let me tell you, my friend circle is lit. I don't know if I have said this before or not in a podcast, but they are lit. Okay. And I am so thankful to have a group of friends that I can call at any time just to say, like, "Oh, help me, the room is spinning." And they know what that means, because we have a very open dialogue about therapy, or when we're just not feeling amazing. There is no sugarcoating and trying to put up a mask, because why would you do that with your friends? So again, my friends are lit. And so when I'm having, an anxiety attack, or just having this feeling, I call some friends, because therapy, as a big advocate for it, it does cost. So sometimes you got to talk to your friends, because sometimes it's just not in the cards to, add an extra therapy bill for the week. But encourage it if you really need it. So in talking to a friend today, she gave me such a great analogy about a bowl and water. And I'm probably going to butcher this a little bit, so I apologize, and how she explained it. But say, picture a bowl, and at the bottom of the bowl, there's some holes in it, some small holes. And naturally, as you pour into the bowl with say some water, it's going to empty out. This is an analogy for life. I mean, yes, like you pour into your cup every day, but you do also have to pour out every day. Like, that's just what it is. And so in this, analogy, she was talking to me. She was like, you probably really just depleted yourself. And very true. That is one of the reasons and why I get to sometimes in having these, because I have depleted myself. I've either have not slept enough, not eating right, I'm not having my water, things of that nature. So I'll end up in an SOS really quickly because of those basic needs not being met. So also, for me, being a natural giver, I love to pour out. And you can find yourself with an empty bowl, which I believe is one of the reasons why, this happened to me. So when you are pouring out, you have to remember to refill. And talking to her, we talked through like my week and I had not poured barely anything into myself. I've been pouring out a lot. So having that refocus time to see, like, okay, you reflected to see what the triggers are, but then you refocus to see like what also haven't you been doing that's been great. And then you can take some of that time to refocus. And then a great topic that I love getting into is that realignment. Now, you got to promise to not laugh at me now, because when we talk about realignment, literally one of the first things I typically do when I need to realign is eat some food. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably hungry. And as a foodie, there's always something I can eat on as a snack or like a full meal. And in the spin cycle that I had today, I knew I needed something delicious to eat. And so that is exactly what I did. And so you will be surprised when you're being faced with an SOS, how quickly just going down to like the basics of life can help you kind of refocus and realign. So taking, maybe a hot shower, getting you a good plate of food, having a cup of coffee, just relaxing. If you add in that water and some sunshine and taking your vitamins, like, wow, you'll be surprised how quickly some little things can kind of mess up yourself a little bit. So, I look at realignment time is truly a time where I pour into myself, because something has gotten off course that got me into an SOS. So I talked about it. I have like these 7 quick things that I usually start with, 7 to 8 things. So food and water, top 2, that can solve a lot of challenges sometimes. But then playing some music. I have found that, depending on my mood, I may need some music that I can completely belt out, like my high school jams and classics or college songs. But, when I really need to calm my nerves, smooth jazz is amazing for that, for me. And this is a recommendation I actually got from my therapist too. So to me, when I'm really anxious, smooth jazz really does help calm down. Making a list. That is number 4 and probably could rival number 1 for me half the time too, because a lot of times my attacks come from having too much going on in my head. So I made a list after I ate. After I ate my yummy plate of food, I made a list of everything that I needed to do. And particularly for this was for work. And looking through my calendar and things, I realized that there was one of my things on my to-do list that I really didn't need to do until like next year, like end of January next year. So moved that over. So making our list and prioritizing what you exactly need to do, that can help take some of the noise out of your head. Put it down, plain and simple. It helps a ton. I also put up my phone. I turn off the notifications, put it on silent. It's playing the music, of course, but it is out of sight, out of mind, just so I can really focus on one thing at a time, because notifications and emails and stuff can be a trigger a lot too. Number 6, I just took one. A really good deep breath. Deep breaths help you reconnect with yourself. That is one of the first things I start doing if I feel that spin, some deep breaths. Affirmations, pour into yourself. Affirm yourself of your amazingness, of what you have done, are doing, and going to do. Because a lot of times for me, a lot of my SOS is tied to things that I haven't done, or how I feel like a failure, or something I should have done, and blah, 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 blah. So affirming all the good in yourself, amazing. If you can, I always say too, go get a hug from somebody. It could be your mate, it could be your child, it could be your parent, whoever. Hugs are amazing and they help calm down too. So those are just a very quick things that I do that helps me realign. They're very simple, but realignment helps you get back on track and what you need. And as a reminder, not a licensed professional. This is what works for me to realign and get back on track. So, you could have your own vices, which is great, but, just giving some tips that have worked some amazing things for me. Last but certainly, I cannot talk. You know what I'm trying to say. Last but not least, the final R is restart. And, as I said earlier, my last trigger that got me into my SOS was like 6 hours ago or something like that. And it lasted for about 2 hours to calm myself down and go through literally the 4 R's that I'm talking to you about today. And then I got the most interesting urge to write this podcast. And, what I have seen and been watching, I've been kind of like into documentaries a ton lately. I just finished the Pepsi Where's My Jet. I watched the Xanax documentary on Netflix, which is really, really good too, because it talks about anxiety and why, you have it for a variety of reasons. So it's not really completely about the pill, so that's nice. And I learned so much from it. And, let's just, call a spade a spade. Adulting is hard. We're all in different arenas and layers and different things of what adulting looks like for us right now. Another show just completed, which clearly I've been watching a lot of TV. Hey, it's holiday season downtime, was The Best Man and Final Chapters. I loved that series because I just feel like it showed adulting, and it's hard as heck. And you are not alone. And I want to make sure that I say this. You are not alone when, you're going through something and having challenges. There's so many people that are going through things. And my biggest goal of why I created this platform was to help normalize, real life. Yes, when I post to social media, do I put a filter on here or there? Absolutely. It just is what it is. But, when it comes to real life, real challenges, and real things going on, having an anxiety attack in the middle of the day is a legit thing that happens to a ton of people, millions of people on a daily basis, if they know it or not. And so I just wanted to share with you some very simple things that helped me literally get through one hours ago that hopefully could maybe help you or help somebody. I don't do things to sugarcoat. I mean, if you have not read my blogs, shameless plug, but yeah, I've had some storms too in my life in that capacity. So I just do this, and I do this this podcast. See, little slip up here, not trying to promote twice, but I do this podcast truly to have relatable things that go on real life day to day. And an anxiety attack during the day very much is that. I am just so thankful to be in a space that I can now, having got out of my SOS today, have taken the leap to actually record this podcast, speak from my truth, my journey. I'm so thankful for amazing friends, family, that lit friend circle. Hello. And so, days like this, even when, you have an SOS and just life be lifing, I also stop and I pause to make sure I reflect on the good and the gratitude. Even in the craziness of the world going on. I mean, it's holiday season. It has been so amazing seeing everybody's like engagements to baby announcements, which are my favorite, to, gosh, I'm trying to think of some other things, that just seeing the family portraits, like I have been beaming from ear to ear for the last couple of days of just seeing all the family, the love. And so, kind of in that restart process, I anchor on gratitude. I anchor on the good. If, maybe something not amazing got me into an SOS, but let's anchor back on gratitude. And I tell you, when you live a life of gratefulness, it is a game changer. I can definitely see that being a podcast topic one day soon. Not right now. I'm still tinkering through that, but it is just amazing. So, in all things, life happens. Sometimes you need to have an SOS and, take a seat back and just do your R's of reflecting, of refocusing, realigning, but restart. Put a pause, but always restart. That is my message. Don't stay in it. Manage through it. Do what you need to do. Get the help that you may need, if that is a therapist, but restart, because life is for living. It can be hard. Adulting is hard. Life can be hard, but life is also amazing and is such a beautiful place to be. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, do not forget to check me out on my Instagram. It's probably my most active platform right now, on at _speakuplaw or www.speakuplaw.com, to just catch up and see all the different things that I have going on with this platform. So thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day. And until next time. All right, good people, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show so that you can catch every new episode. Make sure to leave a review so I can continue to bring you fresh content. And of course, do not forget to follow me on my social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram at _speakuplaw. And to check out my website, www.speakuplaw.com, for other great info and services. Until next time, good people. Hi everyone, my name is Lauren, aka Law, and I am the host of Speak Up Law. My goal in life is to amplify voices, connect people, and spread joy. So the way that I am doing that is very, very soon. I have a show coming out called Speak Up Law. Speak Up Law is a show that I crafted and created that showcases Black excellence, HBCU life, and lets you see all these amazing different professions of amazing Black people doing things in their lanes and absolutely crushing it. The show is filmed on HBCU campuses and other local businesses around the Nashville and Atlanta area, where you can meet and see people in their real time and see all the different professions that they do. When I tell you that I called in some amazing folks, I got entrepreneurs in the whiskey industry, I got art gallery owners, doctors, dentists, the list goes on. And even you get to hear from one of my amazing friends who is part of the Fisk Jubilee Singers. If you don't know who they are, look them up. They just won a Grammy. So until then, you can learn more about my show by going to Facebook or Instagram at _speakuplaw, or my website, www.speakuplaw.com. Until next time, love y'all. We'll chat later.